The best way to explore Hobart is by foot, if you can. For the most part, walking around the waterfront areas. There's so much to be seen as you walk. For instance, Constitution Dock on the waterfront, the home of our Sydney to Hobart yacht race, with the tiles on the pavement showing the Line Honours winners from 1945. That's opposite Customs House. And just progress around the waterfront past our beautiful Parliament House into Salamanca.
The mountain is loved by locals and visitors for all sorts of different activities. You can walk, you can just come up here and be, just to connect with nature. And of course you can come up here just for some sightseeing, driving around, amazing bird watching as well, as you may well be able to hear today. And then there's much more adventurous stuff. There's incredible rock climbing and mountain biking activities, to name a few.
A day at Mona now can start right here in the Hobart city centre. As I've mentioned, we have our own locations here that have infiltrated the city, with Moobroo's Manky Sally's and Dark Rivers in the Hanging Garden in Murray Street. But if it's all about the museum, we also understand that, because that's what we're passionate about too. So people can embark on about a 20-minute ferry journey here at Brook Street Pier. Best way to see Hobart and surround is from the Derwent River. After about 20 minutes, you'll arrive at the museum and be greeted as soon as you're off the ferry by our invigilators at the museum, who'll assist you on either the adventurous 99 steps up to the tennis court and to the mirrored doors that open into the museum.
Visitors here to Hobart love our architecture. Battery Point, for instance, certainly the first land grants occurred there in the 1830s. It is a beautiful precinct showing all our Georgian architecture. That can be accessed through Kelly Steps and up through Kelly Street and into what was called the village. And then architecture then progresses into Victorian and Federation styles. And if you go into the city, don't just look at the shop fronts, look above and check out some of those dates. I mean, they tell you a volume of history. Here we are standing on what was Hunter Island. Mac 1, the hotel, is built right on top of it. Hunter Island was strategic to David Collins' plans of creating the first permanent European settlement here in Tasmania in February of 1804. And Hunter Island was connected to the shore by means of a sand spit that was only accessible at low tide. So within this precinct we have the Tasmanian Museum and Art Gallery, and it's quite unusual being an art gallery and museum all under the one roof. And it's free and it's fabulous. It comprises the commissariat, which was built in 1808. Of course it doesn't look like it's that old, but it has been reclad. And the building on the left is the bond store. Of course, there were dry goods stored on the top levels, but underground there were vaults holding precious cargo like rum. Now, another building that's in that same precinct is the Customs House. So, Customs House, 1903 construction, was designed to make us look prosperous and progressive, because it's very ornate. And there's so many symbols on there testifying to our prosperity, and it was designed as a wraparound building. More or less it's one room wide to disguise our convict past. And the other museum is Mawson's Hut. Very much worth a visit there, and it really is a direct replica of Sir Douglas Mawson with his adventures, shall we say, down in Antarctic waters from 1912.
Yeah, so for our people, this is where the first ever massacre happened to the Mulmarimana people, our Palawa people today. So we have that big, dark kind of history that really sits on this land, but we're really encouraging people that aren't aware of our history or hearing the truth about the Tasmanian Aboriginal history of this land, and teaching Aboriginal people and non-Aboriginal people that history. And it's really important that we come onto country and we learn from Aboriginal people to tell and share those stories.
I'm standing smack bang in the centre of all the excitement that happens at the waterfront in Hobart. Dark Mofo's Winter Feast, which has become such an integral part of the festival, happens here. Not to mention the Festival of Voices. We've got the incredible Wooden Boat Festival. It's taste of summer. There's so many reasons to be at the waterfront.
Salamanca, as we all know and love, all those sandstone buildings over there, were all built as functional buildings. There was nothing meant to be pretty about them. They were all built as warehouses, and they were built in the 1830s and 1840s.
Probably the jewel in the crown is Salamanca Market. It's iconically Hobart and the most visited tourism attraction in Tasmania. It's been operating for the past 50 years every Saturday, which is quite a feat. On Sundays we have Hobart's Farmgate Market. Farmgate Market operates in the heart of Hobart every Sunday. It's an authentic farmers market. It's positioned as one of the top 5 farmers markets in Australia because of its size, scale and authenticity. Street Eats at Franco is our hyperactive inner city night market. It's a beautiful combination of Tassie street food, independently brewed beers, cold climate wines and live music. Markets are an important vehicle for showcasing not only our fresh local produce but our award-winning industry here in Tassie. Markets are a key tourism attraction for locals and visitors alike, and Hobart boasts many of them.
So the Mulmarimina people, this land that we are standing on today, has a deep connection to food. So this area here was a massive hunting ground, and so we would hunt all of our wallaby and possum and our many different native edible plants. So we're using a lot of our bush foods. This is an abundance of natural ingredients that have been growing here for thousands and thousands of years. So this was a really big space for living and hunting and gathering as Aboriginal people. And so we're still continuing to do that today. So we still eat the Pyanthonema, the wallaby, and the possum. We've got our pura kitteners, which are our turbo chooks, but our native edible plants, we have kunzia, we've got pig face, we've got kangaroo apple. We've got so many different native edible plants, but we're also using all of those Palawakani names. So we've got namana, which is a kangaroo apple, the timpletina, which is kunzia, and the kunigong, which is the pig face.
Everything's at your fingertips is what I like. So it's sort of, you can be your base and you can go out and do anything nature related, go down to the south of the state, you can get hiking, kayaking boats, all those sorts of things. So I love the fact that, yeah, it's a sort of a nice hub to base yourself in.
So to be able to still stand on this land, even though we don't have that link in family, we still are having that link in who we are as an Aboriginal community, and really showing that when land is returned back to the Aboriginal community, that's when we can open these tourism ventures and teach people about that true history that sits on this land.